February 21st, 2025. A routine Friday at Bybit, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges. An employee logs in to approve what appears to be a standard transaction, moving Ethereum from cold storage to a warm wallet. Nothing unusual. They've done this hundreds of times. They click approve. In that single moment, $1.5 billion vanishes. 401,346 Ethereum tokens, instantly transferred to wallets controlled by North Korean hackers. The largest cryptocurrency heist in history. The largest bank robbery of any kind in human history, surpassing even Saddam Hussein's theft of $1 billion from Iraq's central bank in 2003. And the employee who approved it? They had no idea. The interface showed a legitimate transaction. The security checks passed. Everything looked normal. Because North Korea's elite hacking squad had spent months, possibly years, preparing this attack. They'd infiltrated the infrastructure, compromised the systems, and waited for the perfect moment to strike. Within 48 hours, at least $160 million had already been laundered through thousands of addresses across multiple blockchains. By the time investigators traced what happened, the money was scattered across a digital labyrinth so complex that recovering it became nearly impossible. Today, we're diving into the most sophisticated cryptocurrency heist ever executed. How North Korea pulled off a $1.5 billion theft. Why their hackers are the most dangerous threat in the crypto world. And what this catastrophic breach reveals about the terrifying vulnerabilities that exist in every digital wallet, every exchange, every blockchain platform. Because here's the truth that should keep you awake at night. If North Korea can steal $1.5 billion from one of the most secure exchanges in the world, your crypto isn't safe anywhere. To understand this heist, you need to understand Bybit. Founded in 2018 and based in Dubai, Bybit wasn't some sketchy startup exchange operating out of someone's basement. This was a major player, one of the top 5 cryptocurrency exchanges globally by trading volume, handling billions in daily transactions. Bybit had everything you'd expect from a professional operation: multi-signature security requiring multiple employees to approve large transactions, cold storage systems keeping most assets offline and unreachable by hackers, professional security teams monitoring for threats 24/7, and regular security audits by third-party firms. They took security seriously. They understood the threats. They'd invested millions in protection systems. And North Korea still got in. The attack didn't target Bybit directly, not at first. Instead, the hackers went after Safe Wallet, a third-party multi-signature platform that Bybit used for managing large transactions. Safe is widely trusted in the crypto industry, used by thousands of companies and protocols to secure billions in digital assets. Safe operates on a principle called multi-signature or multi-sig authentication. Instead of one person having complete control over funds, multiple people must approve each transaction. Think of it like a bank vault that requires 3 different keys held by 3 different people. No single person can open it alone. This is supposed to prevent exactly what happened to Bybit. Even if hackers compromise one account, they can't move funds without getting other approvals. It's one of the most robust security measures in crypto. North Korea figured out how to bypass it. The attack began weeks or months earlier when North Korean hackers identified a system administrator at Safe, a senior developer with elevated access to the platform's live website and code. These aren't just any developers. Sysadmins have the keys to the kingdom. They can update the actual infrastructure that millions of dollars flow through. Using a technique the FBI calls trader-traitor, North Korean hackers targeted this administrator with what was likely a sophisticated phishing attack. Maybe a fake job offer from a prestigious crypto firm. Maybe a malicious app disguised as a legitimate tool. Maybe compromised software updates. The exact method is still under investigation, but the result is clear. They tricked the administrator into downloading malware. Once the malware was on the developer's machine, North Korea had everything. Access to Safe's AWS account, Amazon's cloud computing service where Safe's systems ran. The ability to steal AWS session tokens, temporary credentials that let them bypass multi-factor authentication, complete visibility into Safe's operations, and Bybit's transaction patterns. And they waited. The hackers timed their attack to coincide with the developers' normal work hours, allowing them to remain undetected as they moved through Safe's systems. They studied Bybit's transaction patterns. They learned when large transfers typically occurred. They identified the exact moment to strike. Then they injected malicious code into Safe's user interface. Not code that would affect everyone. That would be detected immediately. Code designed specifically to activate only when a Bybit employee logged in, like a virus engineered to infect just one specific person. The brilliance and horror of this attack is in its precision. Thousands of companies use Safe Wallet daily, but the malicious code lay dormant, invisible to everyone except Bybit employees. February 21st, 2025 started as a normal day. Bybit needed to move Ethereum from their cold wallet, offline storage for long-term security, to their warm wallet, which is connected to the internet for easier access while maintaining reasonable security. This is routine. Cold storage is like keeping cash in a vault. Warm storage is like keeping it in a safe in your office. You move money between them based on operational needs. Exchanges do this constantly. A Bybit employee logged into Safe Wallet to initiate and approve the transfer. The interface showed exactly what they expected: a legitimate transaction moving Ethereum to Bybit's warm wallet. The destination address looked correct. The amount matched expectations. All the security checks passed, but the malicious code was active now. At the moment of approval, North Korea's hackers performed what security researchers call a transaction replacement attack. The interface showed one destination: Bybit's legitimate wallet. But the actual blockchain transaction went to a completely different address controlled by North Korean operatives. The employee clicked approve using their cryptographic key to authorize what they believed was a routine internal transfer. The transaction executed, and $1.5 billion instantly transferred to North Korea. 2 minutes after the theft, the malicious code vanished from Safe's website. The hackers updated the platform's code again, erasing every trace of their presence. By the time Bybit's security team realized what happened, the evidence had been sanitized. Within minutes, investigators worldwide sprang into action. Blockchain analysis firms like Elliptic, TRM Labs, and Chainalysis began tracking the stolen funds. Researcher Zach XBT, a legendary crypto investigator, was among the first to identify the attack and trace connections to previous North Korean heists. Zach XBT traced the stolen cryptocurrency from Bybit to wallets used in previous hacks against Femex, BingX, and Poloniex, which have all been linked to North Korea. The forensic evidence was overwhelming. The laundering methods, the wallet addresses, the transaction patterns, everything matched North Korea's characteristic operational fingerprint. On February 26th, just 5 days after the heist, the FBI officially confirmed North Korea's Lazarus Group was responsible for the largest cryptocurrency theft in history. But confirmation didn't help recover the money. By then, the laundering operation was in full swing. Traditional money laundering is slow. Moving $1.5 billion through banks requires elaborate schemes, shell companies, years of careful transactions. Cryptocurrency laundering is faster, but still faces obstacles, especially when investigators are watching. North Korea had clearly prepared for this. The rapid laundering process, as of February 26, 2025, included transfers through multiple intermediary wallets, conversion into different cryptocurrencies, and the use of DEXS and cross-chain bridges to obfuscate the trail TRM. The hackers immediately began converting Ethereum to Bitcoin. Why? Bitcoin's transaction structure makes it harder to trace. Ethereum uses an account model like a bank account with a running balance, relatively centralized and easier to track. Bitcoin uses something called UTXO, unspent transaction output, more like physical cash where each individual bill must be traced separately. They split the funds across thousands of wallets. They used decentralized exchanges, platforms without central authorities that can freeze accounts. They employed cross-chain bridges to move assets between different blockchains. They used mixing services to blend their stolen crypto with legitimate transactions. And they moved fast. Within 48 hours, $160 million had already been laundered. By the end of the first week, the $1.5 billion had been fragmented across such a vast network of addresses and blockchains that tracking every dollar became virtually impossible. Bybit's CEO, Ben Zhou, responded with remarkable transparency. Instead of hiding the breach or trying to downplay it, he immediately went public. He held live streams explaining what happened. He launched a $140 million bounty, 10% of the stolen amount, for information leading to recovery of the funds. And crucially, Bybit kept withdrawals open. This was unprecedented. When exchanges get hacked, they typically freeze everything immediately, leaving customers unable to access their own money for weeks or months. Bybit did the opposite. They sourced additional Ethereum from partner exchanges to ensure they had enough liquidity to honor all customer withdrawals. This decision was risky but brilliant. It maintained customer confidence during a crisis. It showed that Bybit could absorb a $1.5 billion loss without collapsing. It set a new standard for crisis management in the crypto industry. But here's the uncomfortable question. Should Bybit be praised for good crisis management after such a catastrophic security failure? They lost $1.5 billion. Customer funds were at risk. Their security was breached despite all their professional systems and safeguards. The answer is complex. Bybit's response after the hack was exemplary. But preventing the hack in the first place should have been the priority. To truly understand the Bybit heist, you need to understand who North Korea's hackers are and why they're the most dangerous threat in cryptocurrency. The Lazarus Group isn't a traditional criminal organization. It's not a gang or a syndicate. Lazarus Group is an umbrella term that encompasses different intelligence teams conducting cyber operations out of the 3rd Bureau of the DPRK's Reconnaissance General Bureau, RGB, the DPRK's primary foreign intelligence service. These are government employees, elite hackers working directly for Kim Jong-un's regime. And their mission isn't just profit, it's funding North Korea's nuclear weapons program. North Korea is one of the most heavily sanctioned nations on Earth. Traditional banking is extremely difficult. International trade is restricted. The regime needs money to fund its military programs, particularly its nuclear and ballistic missile development. And cryptocurrency has become their primary funding source. Since 2017, North Korea has stolen over $6.75 billion in cryptocurrency. That's not a typo. Nearly $7 billion stolen through cyber heists. The Bybit attack alone accounts for roughly 22% of their all-time total. And 2025 was their best year ever. North Korean hackers stole $2.02 billion in cryptocurrency in 2025, a 51% year-over-year increase. That's more than they stole in 2023 and 2024 combined. But here's what's truly alarming. They're getting more efficient. They're pulling off fewer attacks, but stealing larger amounts each time. In 2024, they conducted dozens of small and medium heists. In 2025, they focused on a few massive targets and made significantly more money with less effort. The Bybit heist perfectly demonstrates their evolution. They didn't attack Bybit directly. Too difficult, too many defenses. Instead, they attacked the infrastructure Bybit relied on. They compromised a trusted third-party service, then waited months for the perfect moment to strike. This is supply chain warfare, and it's terrifyingly effective. The Bybit heist isn't just about $1.5 billion. It's about what it reveals regarding the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem's vulnerabilities. Let's talk about the scale of crypto crime in 2025. According to blockchain analysis firm Chainalysis, approximately $17 billion was stolen through cryptocurrency scams and fraud in 2025. That's billion with a B in a single year. The breakdown is staggering. In 2025, cryptocurrency scams received at least $14 billion on-chain, a significant increase from the $9.9 billion first reported in 2024. Hacks and exploits accounted for billions more. And these are just the losses that were detected and reported. The real number is likely much higher. And the most disturbing part? Only approximately 7% of scams get reported globally, with rates as low as 2.6% in the US and 5% in the UK. For every victim who reports being scammed, 13 others suffer in silence, either from embarrassment, hopelessness about recovery, or not even realizing they've been victimized. Why are people not reporting? Victim blaming. Whereas traditional crime victims report victim blaming at just 5%, cybercrime victims face blame at 27%. When someone gets robbed on the street, we sympathize. When someone loses crypto to a scam, we ask why they were stupid enough to fall for it. This creates a vicious cycle where victims don't report crimes, criminals don't get caught, and the scams continue unabated. But here's what really keeps me up at night: the fundamental vulnerability of cryptocurrency that makes all of this possible. Cryptocurrencies are stored in wallets or accounts that can be accessed with private keys, and it remains the case that if hackers gain control of an account, they can quickly wire it to a different wallet that they own. Unlike with traditional finance, there are few ways to reverse a fraudulent transaction. Think about that. If someone steals money from your bank account, the bank can reverse the transaction. They can freeze accounts. They can recover funds. The thief faces obstacles at every step. In cryptocurrency, theft is often irreversible. Once the transaction executes on the blockchain, it's permanent. The money is gone. And while blockchain analysis can trace where it went, actually recovering it requires cooperation from exchanges, law enforcement across multiple countries, and often luck. This is cryptocurrency's original sin. The same features that make it decentralized and outside government control also make it perfect for criminals. The anonymity that protects users from surveillance also protects thieves from accountability. The immutability that prevents government interference also prevents reversing fraudulent transactions. North Korea understands this better than anyone. They've built their entire funding strategy around exploiting these fundamental features of cryptocurrency. So what do we do about this? How do we stop North Korea and the thousands of other criminals stealing billions in crypto every year? The uncomfortable answer is, we probably can't. Not completely. Given that North Korea is already under extreme sanctions, there's little left to deter it from continuing to hack digital assets to fund its military operations. NBC News. They're an isolated nation-state with elite hacking capabilities and nothing to lose. Traditional deterrence doesn't work. The Bybit heist is a watershed moment. It's the largest theft of any kind in human history. It demonstrated that no exchange is truly safe. It showed that North Korea has become the most prolific financial criminal entity on Earth, and it exposed fundamental flaws in how we secure digital assets. For cryptocurrency to have a legitimate future, these problems must be solved. Not minimized, not dismissed as growing pains, actually solved. But solving them might require compromises that the crypto community is unwilling to make. More centralization for better security. More regulation for better protection. More oversight for better accountability. The industry built itself on principles of decentralization and freedom from government interference. But those same principles created a playground for criminals and nation-state hackers. North Korea stole $1.5 billion because the system allowed it. Because cryptocurrency's features that appeal to libertarians also appeal to criminals. Because irreversible transactions can't be reversed even when they're fraudulent. Because international sanctions can be bypassed with digital currencies. The question isn't whether another massive heist will happen. It's when, and who will be the victim next time. Maybe it will be another exchange. Maybe it will be a DeFi protocol. Maybe it will be your personal wallet. Because if Bybit, with all their security, all their resources, all their professional infrastructure, could lose $1.5 billion in minutes. What makes you think your crypto is safe? The answer that crypto enthusiasts don't want to hear is, it probably isn't. Not completely. Not yet. And until the industry solves these fundamental vulnerabilities, every wallet, every exchange, every blockchain platform remains a target for the most dangerous criminal organization on Earth, a nuclear-armed nation-state that has perfected the art of digital theft. Sleep well tonight, but maybe check your crypto balance in the morning. $1.5 billion stolen in minutes. North Korea's most sophisticated heist ever. If this opened your eyes to how vulnerable crypto really is, hit that like button and subscribe. We're exposing the truth about digital crime that the industry doesn't want you to know. Drop a comment. Do you still think your crypto is safe? What scam should I investigate next? Thanks for watching, and seriously, use a hardware wallet.